So I have two pieces of fabric here. Actually, this was a pillowcase, an old pillowcase that I had embroidered on as a kid, actually. I cut the embroidery off. The pillowcase is very worn and thin. I wasn't going to throw it away. It's still good fabric. I'm going to paint it because I need two painted pieces to do some fabric collage on. I told you, did I tell you about the new little restaurant that's opening up here in town? Well, I contacted them and we've been discussing options for me to put some of my work in there. And although they love the horses right now, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for more botanical type of things, so flowers and scenery and things like that. So I'm doing a night piece and a day piece for them. And they're going to be much smaller. They're going to be this size, which is 11 by 14. So I already dyed the piece for the night one. Now I need to dye a piece for the day one, and it's going to be a flower garden. So I need sky and land background. So that's what I'm going to do with these two. I'm going to set myself up here and then I will come back and show you how I do it. I picked up this little bag of acrylic paints at the thrift store. It must have been from a project of something, and some of them have never been opened. Some of them have. So I think I paid like $2 for this little bag. So this is what I'm using. And I'm almost out of most of the colors that I use. I use yellow, green, blue, and black, and a little bit of white. I haven't used the brown and I haven't used the red. So that's what I'm going to be using for my paint. It's acrylic paint, and I'm going to dilute it to the nth degree with water. You want to make it like just colored water. That's the consistency. There's not going to be much paint. It's just going to be colored water. And then I'm going to use a regular brush. This is the brush that I use, and I'm just going to paint it on. And it is, when you're finished with it, it is almost like a batik, whereas the color's on both sides of the fabric, which is kind of nice because sometimes one side of the fabric is darker than the other, and it has sometimes different looks. So you have some choices as to what you want to do with it. You can also paint, like I'm going to use this as a background for something else, but you can paint fabric and then tear it up in little pieces and use it for fabric collage or for slow stitching or whatever you want to do. So I'm going to mix up my paint. I've got some water here, and I'll pour a little bit of that in there from my brush and a little bit in there from my brush. And I will start mixing up the paint, and I'll show you how I do it. Let the camera run. I have to go around the other side. Some of this is kind of dry, but it doesn't matter. As soon as you put water to it, it'll turn color. There's two different colors of green. Oops. This one is more of a bluey green. And this one here, let's do the blues over on here. Dark blue. I really like this one. I cut it in half because it's dried up, but it's a really nice color. Put it back in there. And maybe a little white. Put the white over here. And this time I think I might put a little bit of red. Is it the same red? This is vermilion. Let's try it. Just to put a little pink in the sky. Oh, that one's hard. I might have to cut that one open. We'll try this one. Oh, that one's not even been opened. Just a squirt. There we go. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take and put a little bit of water. This is just how I do it. And you want to get your brush really good and wet. So I'm going to start with the sky first. So I'm just going to mix this up over here. And I'm just going to start brushing. And that is as simple as it is. You want to dilute that down a bit. You take some more water and you just pick up the color from that part, and it makes it much lighter over here. I want a little bit of this blue. Because this just makes a nice the sky is never all blue. If you look at it, there's little bits of, this is a really nice the sky is never all blue. There's usually some little bits of green, sometimes a little bit of pink, some areas that might be darker than others. Just play around with it. It takes no time for this to dry either. Unfortunately, this old cloth is so thin, it's kind of wrinkling up on me as I work here. And you might think, oh my gosh, this is so wet, but it dries very quickly. It doesn't take, even up here, I just hang it on my little line that I've got going here. And it doesn't take very long at all to dry. And when it is dry, you're going to have actually canvas is what you're going to have, because it will have, just adding a little red here, it will have turned this really thin old fabric into canvas. That's a little bit too much red. I just want a hint of red. So what I'm going to put on here is probably wildflowers. I thought maybe I would do some echinacea, some daisies. bonsai daisies, maybe even some dill heads, something like that. You always want your sky to come lower than your grass or your ground. Now that's becoming a really pretty sky. It's got all kinds of colors in it. That's too much color there. So I'm bringing my sky down to about 3/4 the way, well, maybe not 3/4, but more than half the way down this piece of fabric, because I want my flowers to be up. You're looking at it from if you were looking at it from a camera lens, you want your flowers to be seen against the sky. So you need lots and lots of sky. And I need a tiny little bit of lightning here. There's a little bit of a storm coming in this sky. Sorry about my squeaky floor. I haven't quite figured out what to do about that squeaky floor. I'm just going to lift it for a minute. See if I can't get the wrinkles out of it. Okay, so a little bit more. Very light. Just a tiny hint down here. I'm going to put the green on. See, if you add water to it, it really does turn it more. I'm going to mix all of these colors together so that I get some of the lime and the yellow. One part that it doesn't want to take the color for some reason. This is actually quite a bit of fun, to be honest with you. You can just let your childhood painting in kindergarten attitude go wild. And grass isn't all green either. The contrast in this part is just as good as it is in the sky. Just like when you're making leaves, you don't make your leaves all one color. almost done. Obviously, I'm not going to need it right to the very end, but whatever I don't need, I'm going to keep and use for something else. So there's my sky, and here's my grass. I'm just trying to get rid of a little bit too much red there. Oh, there's a little bit of a storm happening. Now, let's see. Can't just put little bits of white just here and there. All right, I think that's good. I'm gonna say that's really good. Now I'm gonna hang it up. Okay, I'm gonna hang it up now. And you'll see when I lift it up that it's color on two sides. All right, so let's flip it up a little. There. Looks pretty good. So let's do the other one. But before I do the other one, I'm gonna wipe that all off. I have a little piece. This was the end here, so I'm just gonna wipe this all off. And this too is a usable cloth. Once it dries, you have a really pretty cloth to use for a slow stitch project or applique or whatever you want to. So here's my second piece, and I'm going to do it pretty much the same way as the last one. So I'll need a squirt of green, and this is a darker green. I should try this one. Oh, that's kind of a bluey green too. Nice. And what's really nice about this is it washes off your hands very easily. Because it is acrylic. It doesn't stain. Now after that dries, I am going to set it with the iron. Don't use a good iron. Use an old iron. You know, if you're like me, you have your good irons and your crafting irons. And your crafting irons are pretty much, well, I buy them from the charity place. As long as they work, I don't care if they have a bunch of settings. I just buy whatever's there, as long as it works, and then I muck it up, and then I don't feel bad. that I've done that, because I haven't paid a lot of money. Irons are expensive, so don't use your good iron. I should actually change this water because it has a lot of green in it. And I don't want the green yet. Right now I just want the blue and the white. It's funny how some of this old fabric, it doesn't always take the color. I wonder if that's because of a chemical that was put on it, maybe what am I thinking of? A bounce sheet, who knows? Fabric is so soft that it's buckling on me, or puckering. This one's going to have a more of an opaque color to it. It's not going to be quite as vibrant as the other one. So we are having a snowstorm. We are having what we call an Alberta clipper. When we get a snowstorm, it comes from two places. It either comes from Alberta, and it's called a clipper, or it comes from Colorado, and it's called a Colorado low. The clippers usually happen when it's cold, and believe you me, it's cold right now. We woke up this morning with a wind chill of minus 38 degrees Celsius. So it's just a little on the nippy side, but it is, we've had a lot of snow. Roads are closed, highways are closed, no school, which actually doesn't happen that often. But the plows are out working. I heard them. I woke up at 4:30 and I could hear them out there on the highway, but the highway remains closed. So there will be no postal service today, no school. Stores are open, but the people are local, so that's why. All right, where's this here? Yeah, so we've been waiting for this. We've had really a very non-Manitoba winter so far. And like I've said before in some of my other videos, I bought myself a really nice warm to minus 40 jacket in the fall, and I've had it on for about 10 minutes. That night of the Santa Claus parade was the only night I wore it, and I only wore it for about 10 minutes. So it's not a typical winter for us at all. been actually quite nice. But this is more what we're used to. And I know some people are probably saying, don't, we like this, it's beautiful. I like winter, real winter, not warm winter. I like cold winter. I love to go for a walk and it's biting cold on the cheeks. When we were children, nothing was closed. When it was like this, we went to school, we walked to school. We didn't have, nobody got driven to school back when I was a kid. You walked. And I walked 3 blocks to school when I was in grade school. And when I was a teenager, well, it wasn't as far of a walk, but still walked. No riding. So it's a blustery, cold day. Good day to be inside doing this. Perfect day to be doing this. So if you are doing things with fabric and color and you've never given this a try, you should try it. It's actually very, very uplifting. You'll think you were in kindergarten again. I need a little bit more green. And this time I'm going to mix the yellow with it. Because I want it kind of more limey. There we go. Like new grass. Change my water. Yeah, so the wind is howling out there. I'm hoping that I'll still get my Amazon delivery tomorrow of my paddle iron that I can continue working on Molly. I haven't been able to, I don't want to use the iron because it's very small bits. I've cut a lot of those big pieces into really small pieces now. And I want to have that little tool that has a really fine tip on it to get in there and put those pieces down. So I'm holding out for that tool, and I hope it comes. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, so if the roads open up by then, I'm sure it will be, but you don't know. The way this storm is going, it could turn around and come back and hit us again. I think so far we've probably had, well, last night at around 6 o'clock, I think we had 6 inches, and it hasn't stopped since then. And it's probably around 11 o'clock in the morning now. So, and by the way, I'm recording this on Thursday morning. You won't see it till Sunday, but this is Thursday, the 11th, is it? Still need more green. A little bit more. I made it. Okay, that's the second one done. Let's see how different they are. Grab a couple of clips. And I do have plastic on the floor, by the way, to absorb the water. Ooh, this one's nice. I think I'll be using this one. It's lighter for what I want. I'll show you I'll wipe this off first, and then I'll show you the dark one that I did yesterday for the night piece. I'm going to be doing a night scene where the moon is shining down on a woodland, and there's an Arctic hare in the woodland looking up at the moon. We have Arctic hares here. They kind of, I don't mind them in the winter time, but when they're still hanging around my yard in spring, I get a little anxious because they can be quite destructive with your plants. But there is one here that comes and visits every morning. So I'm just going to wipe all these up on this little rag and add other colors in there. And then I'll hang this up too. Oh, this is going to be wonderful. Look at this one. So this is the first piece, this one here that I did. This is the cleanup rag. Look at how lovely that is. That is going to be useful. Very, very useful. And this is the second one that I did. It's looking very washed out in this light, but it's not washed out at all. So I'm happy with those. Those are really good for making landscapes on. This one has a bit of a storm cloud right there. Yeah, they turned out good. I love this one the best. And see what I mean by the colors on both sides? So you get a choice with this on which side you want to use. It is very much like batik. I don't know how batik is made, but look at here. This is a sun coming out of a cloud right there. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Absolutely awesome. So I hope you give this a try. It's a lot of fun, believe you me. All you need is some cheap acrylic paint and lots of water and old cloth. When you're first doing it, try it out on old pieces of cloth. I will go and find the one that I did yesterday and I'll show it to you. So this is the night one that I did yesterday. The dark part down here is going to be the ground, and this will be the night sky. It has to have a little bit of shading because there's going to be a moon, but I think it's going to work out fine. I'll show you the back part is also really good. This one actually might be better for the back. I don't know. I have to iron them, but see how nice and solid this is now? It wasn't like that before. It was very thin. So that was the one I did for the night. Actually, I think I like the back side better. It's got some good dark tones to it. This is going to be better for night. And then I did this one here. This cloth had a big stain in the middle, and the stain is still there, but it's now a darker green. It's not coming out very good color-wise on here for some reason. I don't know why. It's looking white, but it's not. And the other side is very green as well. I don't know why it looks white. There's a nice piece. I don't know why it's looking so white. It's not white. And this is my washing up cloth, which is not gray like it is. It's very green, so I don't know. Colors aren't too... There we go. Maybe this is better. Yeah, so then I have another piece here that I did. This one has just, it's very light green, and another little tiny strip. Oh, that one came loose. I gotta hang that back up. Yeah, that's gonna look nice. I hope you enjoyed that. I sure did. So I'm going to go on my computer. I've got hundreds of photos of my garden beds. And there's one of my beds is echinacea daisies, that kind of thing. And I'm going to use one of the pictures in there that I know that I took is going to be my inspiration for the little picture that I was doing the background for those things for. And I just wanted to show you, it did arrive. This is the little paddle iron. It's called a mini iron. I call it a paddle iron. See, it's got a nice sharp tip. That's the only part of the iron right there. And this is what I'm going to be used to be working on Molly, as well as all those other tiny little pieces on the other pictures that I'm working on. I'm not sponsored. This is a clover. I have no idea how it works. I haven't tried it out, but I'll be sure to let you know. I bought this. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but I thought it was kind of cool. And I've seen other designers using one of these. So instead of heating up a great big iron and getting it all mucked up, I can work on this. And it was cheap. It was under $30. So thank you for watching, and take care, everybody. I will show you the progress of this video, or of what I'm making from this video, in a week or so when I've got things going. But right now that I've got this, I'm going to start working on Molly. So I will see you on Wednesday with more of Molly, and maybe a little of this too. Who knows? Take care, everybody. See you. Bye-bye.